What if I told you that the FIRE number you've been obsessing over might not be as important as you think? Have you ever wondered, is there more to financial independence than just reaching a specific number? In this video, we're going to challenge the conventional wisdom about your FIRE number and explore why focusing solely on this target might actually be holding you back from true financial freedom. Let's start by defining what a FIRE number actually is for those who are new to financial independence or the FIRE movement. The FIRE number is the amount of money you need to reach financial independence where work becomes optional. Using key concepts like a safe withdrawal rate, you can calculate a specific number based on your annual spending. And if you're obsessed with your FIRE number, I want you to know that you're not alone. I used to be just like you, fixated on my FIRE number as the ultimate goal of my financial independence journey. But my perspective has changed dramatically. And today I'm going to share with you why I no longer see my FIRE number as the be all and end all. We'll dive into the reasons why your FIRE number is likely to change over time and why the concept of FIRE is about so much more than just a number in your bank account. Most importantly, we'll uncover the number one mistake people make when pursuing FIRE. A mistake that could be holding you back from true financial freedom and a life you truly enjoy. By the end of this video, you'll have a fresh perspective on what really matters in your pursuit of financial independence and how shifting your focus can lead to a more fulfilling and flexible approach to reaching financial independence. Let's explore a common journey many people experience when discovering the FIRE movement. While not universal, I've heard countless stories of individuals following a similar path as they join the FIRE movement. When you first learn about FIRE, financial independence, retire early, it often feels like a revelation, an aha moment that opens your eyes to a new way of living and orienting your life. This experience can be likened to the iconic scene in The Matrix, where Neo chooses between the red pill and the blue pill. After taking the red pill and waking up to reality, Neo realizes there's so much more to his existence than he ever imagined. Similarly, you suddenly see that there's far more to personal finance than you previously knew. In this moment of enlightenment, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement surrounding the numbers and become obsessed with money. For many, this manifests as a fixation on their FIRE number, the financial milestone at which your investment income surpasses your living expenses, allowing you to stop working if you choose. In the FIRE community, this milestone is typically defined as 25 times your annual expenses, based on a 4% safe withdrawal rate. Given its significance to financial freedom, this milestone often becomes the North Star. You begin making decisions based on whether they'll help you reach your ultimate goal of financial independence and early retirement and reaching this specific number. Over time, a mental shift occurs. You realize that instead of focusing on the true essence of financial independence, flexibility, and freedom, you've become fixated on the numbers. Does this sound familiar? I know it does for me. If you can relate to this at all, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear that I'm not alone in this experience. This used to be my approach, but I've since changed my perspective, leading to a more fulfilling and rewarding path to financial independence. While I haven't abandoned my goal of eventually reaching financial independence, I've shifted my approach in a way that reduces the day-to-day importance of our FIRE number. Let's delve into two key reasons why I've moved away from focusing on a static FIRE number. The first reason is that your FIRE number is likely to change over time as your annual expenses fluctuate. This comes from someone who had relatively stable expenses for many years. However, in the past 6 years, two significant changes have dramatically altered our spending. The first major shift occurred when I switched to working part-time. As my exhaustion and burnout faded, so did my need for convenience items and escapist activities. Without intentionally making changes, we spent $17,000 less in the year after I began working part-time, simply by eliminating the toxic spending triggers that were previously influencing our buying habits. The second significant change to our annual expenses came when we decided to move to New Hampshire, where the cost of living is considerably lower than Boston. Not only that, but we were able to use the appreciation and equity from our Boston condo to buy our new home in cash. This eliminated our mortgage and lowered our annual housing expenses by about $20,000. Assuming a 4% safe withdrawal rate or a 25 times multiplier, spending $37,000 less in annual expenses means our FIRE number dropped by $925,000. Said differently, these two lifestyle changes alone reduced our FIRE number by almost $1 million. I should clarify that neither of these changes was motivated by a desire to make our FIRE number more achievable. We started by focusing on improving our daily lives, and the reduced expenses and lower FIRE number were happy side effects. As we focused on improving our daily lives, we've also made some changes that have increased our expenses. When we shifted to self-employment, our health insurance premiums doubled overnight. We've also spent additional money on travel and van life. If you were to ask me 5 years ago how our expenses would change, I would have not been able to predict any of these changes. The key takeaway here is that your annual expenses will likely shift over time in ways that are impossible to predict. So what I once saw as a static milestone, I now view as more of a range or a rough guideline. Our FIRE number will probably continue to evolve. For this reason, we likely won't even know the exact day we cross the financial independence threshold. Walking away from the momentary satisfaction of crossing a specific financial milestone might sound scary or even sad to some. But for me, it's neither. This ties into the second reason why I've moved away from focusing on a static FIRE number. I want to concentrate on the true purpose of pursuing financial independence. Let's delve deeper into this concept. Several years ago, I encountered a perspective that transformed my view on financial independence. Someone shared their goal of making small incremental changes throughout their journey to financial independence. The idea was that when they finally reached their FIRE number, it would feel like just any other day because they would already be living the life that they wanted. This insight was truly eye-opening for me, and it fundamentally shifted how I perceived financial independence. I realized that I didn't have to postpone lifestyle changes until after reaching financial independence. Instead, I could implement gradual improvements along the way. Rather than viewing the journey as a two-phase process, first wealth accumulation, then financial independence, I began to see financial freedom as a spectrum. This perspective aligns closely with what Diana Merriam, the founder of the Economy Conference, shared in an interview I conducted with her a few years ago. In that conversation, Diana said this.
I will reach financial independence 25 times my yearly expenses. I will reach that at some point because I'm still saving and investing. But I just feel like getting there is almost irrelevant because I wouldn't change anything about my life anymore. That milestone would not cause me to make any changes. So it's kind of like it doesn't really matter as much as it used to.
Consider this. When you fixate solely on reaching a financial milestone, that's where you invest all of your time and energy. Consequently, you risk losing sight of the original purpose. The essence of financial independence begins with gaining more freedom and flexibility over how you spend your time. But if you spend your time focused on a static milestone, you lose sight of what's most important. And if this sounds familiar, you are not alone. This is, in my opinion, the most common mistake that the FIRE movement makes. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can pursue financial independence without obsessing over your FIRE number. It starts with intentionally designing a life that you love and using the financial freedom that you've already built. I talk about how to do that in this video on lifestyle design. I walk through the exact process I use with my clients to help them design lives that they don't want to retire from. Check it out to take the next step on your journey. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the journey.